All right, all right, all right. That was nice. All right. So for everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Mickey Wilt. I'm Tyler's best man and one of his buddies from Marquette. And before jumping into my speech, I want to quick thank both the Gearys and the Zemans for putting together such an incredible wedding weekend. Everything's been amazing so far. I know we got a lot great left. So when Tyler asked me to be his best man, my first thought was, well, writing this speech is going to be a piece of cake. And true story, I wrote this 6 months ago and haven't looked at it up until yesterday, so bear with me. Because the story of how I met Tyler perfectly encapsulates who he is as a person, why he is one of my absolute best friends in the world, and it also leads perfectly into the story about how I met Molly and how she became one of my absolute best friends in the world. So it's the start of my senior year at Marquette, and me and my 6 other guy roommates were settling into our substantially nicer than junior year house on 14th and State. We had a free bedroom in our house, and we had big plans for it, maybe a beer pong room or a ball pit, or if our other kind of weird roommate, Mike, had had his way, it would have been a blacklight room with neon signs everywhere. But our landlord had other plans in mind. He wanted the room filled, and he planned to do so if we couldn't find someone ourselves. So we called his bluff, thinking that we would indeed be able to keep that room for whatever dumbass idea we had that week. Now, it's important to establish that at this point, the guys living in this house with me had been my best friends since the first month of freshman year of college. We were and still are inseparable, and had branded ourselves the Natty Boys for our profound love of natural light. A love that was soon to be complemented by an undying thirst for the great tasting, less filling Miller latte. Ooh, dude. So our landlord did call our bluff, and just as we're entering the prime of our college experience, we learned that a random dude was going to be placed smack dab in the middle of our natty boy ecosystem. Tyler came to tour the house when most of us were at class, but our roommate Matt Smith was home, and he said, "He looks like a cool dude." I was so pissed. I did not want a new roommate. I did not want to like the new guy whatsoever. But after meeting Tyler in person and living alongside him for a day or two, my territorial indignation turned into a respect, admiration, and kinship with Tyler. Tyler's what I often refer to as a magnetic person. He attracts everything good around him. I couldn't help myself as much as I wanted to hate this guy. I knew he was going to be my best friend. So within a matter of days, Tyler, a.k.a. Slyler, a.k.a. Guyler, was an official natty boy, even adopting the consumption of our customary beverages as a sign of devotion. And as days turned to weeks, Tyler began to meet all of our friends, who became his friends. Then Tyler began to make his own friends, bringing them over, and those folks became our friends. Our network of fun and friends expanded exponentially, and soon our house wasn't big enough for the gatherings we wanted to have. We needed to go somewhere with the infrastructure and space to accommodate our burgeoning monopoly on fun at Marquette. Enter Murphy's Irish Pub. Yeah. Located conveniently a few blocks from our house and at the heart of Marquette's campus, we found our home away from home. And after establishing our presence at Murphy's and a few legendary nights where Tyler bought every ice cream sandwich that Real Chili had, proceeding to hand them out like a drunken Santa Claus on Wells Street, Tyler saw a beautiful blonde girl behind the bar. He was entranced. Not figuratively, literally. I can recall having a conversation with Tyler and Murphy's after potentially one too many Miller Lights, where he was staring at the bartender while pretending to listen to me talk. And in the middle of the conversation, Tyler just leaves. I think I'm still talking when he leaves. Walks up to the bar and begins chatting up the bartender. And if you don't know by now, that beautiful blonde bartender is the beautiful blonde bride before us today, Molly. Tyler talked to Molly for a long time, like at least 3 to 4 pool games worth of time. And when he finally returned, Tyler said to me, I'm not lying, I'm going to marry that girl. I think I laughed and said, yeah, okay, bud, let's go get some Qdoba and watch Austin Powers at home or something, which we probably did do. But that next day, when the hangover had washed away, Tyler was still saying the same thing. I'm going to marry that girl. In the following weeks, Tyler was spending a lot of time at Murphy's. It was a little concerning. And after a few weeks, the Natty Boys finally got to spend some time with the beautiful blonde bartender on our home turf, the Natty Ranch. The ultimate gauntlet for a potential significant other. How would she perform in Mario Kart, in beer dice, in archery? Yes, we had an archery range in the basement of our college house. Hard-toe shoes were mandatory. Unsurprisingly, Molly blew us all away with how fun, kind, and gracious she was, and still is. In short order, I knew Molly was a magnetic person, too. Molly has a way of making you feel like you're the only person in the room when you talk to her. Like what you have going on in your life is just as important to her as what she has going on in her own. She gives herself to her friends and loved ones without need or want for anything in return, and makes every situation better just by being there. It wasn't long before I was telling Tyler, dude, you need to marry that girl. Today feels a bit surreal. I get to see a relationship that I saw begin over 7 years ago become something more. I get to see two of my absolute best friends in the world marry one another. And I get to celebrate the knowledge that you both have a lifetime of love, joy, and fun together with your absolute perfect partner. So if everyone would join me in raising a glass, I'd like to be one of the first to say cheers to the new Mr. and Mrs. Zeman.
All right, how about a big round of applause for our best man? Nicely done.